Greetings, everyone out there in internet land. My name is Troy Bernier, and this is the Miami International Science Fiction Film Festival. And here this evening, which is President's Day, we have a very nice treat. Very nice treat. We have some very special people. Special people. And when we have special people, we like to go all out and dig deep, dig real deep, get to know a lot about them, get to know a lot about their programming, what they're doing, why they're doing it, a little more about the film. And we do this whenever there are a lot of people that go into making some of these films. In this case, we have a sci-fi horror thriller called Grub. And this film is, this is something. Coming out of California area, we have a story which is basically about the story of Leah. It's a journey of Leah, an ambitious 8-year-old girl and a mysterious and unsettling alien whose appearance is sparking all of this controversy. And there are rumors that swirling around this alien's involvement in crimes such as murder and kidnappings going on. And there's actually a talk show with this alien. However, the alien visits Leah and offering to change her life forever, but at what cost? And their clash of ideals lead to a night that blurs reality, where Grub explores themes of youth, careerism, and the toxic dance between life and death, posing this question: would you grub for it? So let's spend some nice quality time with the producer, Valentina Chang, and the chief starring character of the film, Mr. Cameron Elie. How you all doing?
I'm good.
Good.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. So Cameron, not only are you the main actor in this, but you also wrote and directed this actually quite interesting story that deserves a lot more play. Deserves a lot more. It's a short film, but there could be a whole lot more in this. And we have Valentina here who put up the bucks. We like that part. To make
Cameron put up more bucks. Like I just helped.
Cameron put up more bucks. Okay, that's even.
I helped him run the fundraising campaign. Yeah.
I mean, the fundraising brought the bucks, and that was mostly Valentina.
Well, that's important. That's important to highlight, celebrate. Don't hesitate to jump in, stop me. Okay, that's perfectly fine here. Well, that's good. So let me get it right. You all are coming out of the Los Angeles area, or?
Yes, LA.
Okay.
Yeah, LA. We live here. I'm from Taiwan. I'm not from here, but yeah, I'm here for 2 years.
Okay, you've been living for a while in the States. That's great. And I can only say thank you for being here and helping put together these awesome films. We're so thankful to get them. So tell us a little bit more about tell us a little bit about yourselves and a little bit more about Grub. What came about putting Grub together, and why'd you do it?
I guess I'll start. Well, I'm Cameron Elie. I wrote and directed it, obviously. I guess the project came about. Well, I started as an actor. I just want to preface that, and then. Sure. I guess I'm still acting, and I just wanted to get behind the camera and experience more stuff creatively. And so I came up with the short film Grub. It was kind of a mix of a lot of ideas that I had going around in my head. And it took about, I want to say, a year to get it fully until we actually filmed it, from the script to actually filming it. And Valentina was one of the people that pushed it ahead. I met her through a friend, cinematographer, Ty Jones, knew Valentina, and we just asked if she could help on the project, and she said yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think from the timing that I got introduced to Cameron to the time we finished filming was kind of, well, if we include post production, I think that will be a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
but I think we got some challenges in pre production initially, like some
Mm-hmm.
characters dropped, and like location. I think location actually wasn't the most challenging. Like we were so interested in renting like one astronaut suit, and then it ended up like costing a ridiculous amount. Like I think the insurance quote was even more expensive than the rental cost
Oh
itself.
yeah.
And we were just like, this is not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, like there's a scene where I feel, would that be a spoiler? I don't know. Cameron, you tell me.
Probably. I think so. Yeah.
But anyway, like Leah just ends up being in her pajama. Yeah, yeah, and I think the proudest moment from my end, like as a producer, is that it's our first time doing a
Sure.
crowdfunding campaign, and it went
Okay.
pretty well. We like actually got a bit more than our goal,
Yeah.
and
That's good. That's a plus. That's good.
yeah, and we also finished post production in 2.5 months, which surprisingly is short for a short film. Yeah, and we're pretty proud of what we've made.
Yeah. Well, that's a plus. Are you willing to tell your campaign?
I think that was
I,
about 9,000.
I think it was like
Okay.
8,500, and then we got nine
Okay.
thousand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's it's better. It's good because if you know how to utilize the funds in the most efficient way, and if you have access to equipment at either low cost or no cost, you can do a lot with that. We
Yeah.
see this. We see this, and that's admirable. That's good. I'd like to show a couple photos that we have here. Give me a minute while I load those up. But I think it's an interesting short film. You have some. To me, it's very different from what we typically see. So for me, I'm very interested in for what reasons, what you kind of spell it out. The questions regarding um, youth careerism and the extremes that people take. Why did that pose an issue for someone at such a young age, opposed to say somebody in college?
Yeah. I think it's just. I don't want to say makes it sound negative, but like ignorance or I guess younger people don't have as much of a bigger picture view on life than someone
Mhm.
within college who has just more life experience usually.
Sure.
So I think it's children are a lot more vulnerable, and the cost is a lot higher than someone in college who I
Mhm.
guess I don't want to say the cost isn't as high, but still has a lot to lose
Yeah.
um, for dreaming big or whatever.
Okay. Okay. Um, because it sends this message, right? And I think the message that you're trying to convey here, when we speak of careerism, we're talking about people that make choices as far as how far they could go. So essentially, um, the Grub, right?
Mm.
Or is there an acronym associated with Grub? Help me with that. Um,
Yeah.
why is this character? Why is he going after people and making? Why is this alien doing this? What's the backstory behind it? What's some of the subtext in that?
Well, I guess the alien kind of wants to show people Um, I think ultimately he wants to teach people lessons while also learning more about human nature. He's from like an alternate planet, so I think I left that question pretty open ended, of his backstory, and left it a mystery for, I guess, a reason. But I think it's really just he's trying to find answers to why people think this way, or why they would do these things, and just show people another perspective.
Or show themselves.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's cool. I should say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's what the Joker did.
Right. Yeah.
The real scary one that really freaked people out with the end scene. It's more of a psychological thriller, and that's kind of where I see Grub coming from.
Right. Yeah.
Really going after what's inside, making you think more about yourself and your choices and what you really believe in. Are you a hypocrite? Or what are you?
Right.
And a lot of the science fiction, Valentina, you might see this, but a lot of the science fiction today it's more psychological than it's about spaceships and shoot 'em ups. We're seeing a lot of that, and it also has a lot to do where you see it intertwined with either aliens, such as in your case, or with androids. So human beings are learning more about themselves through these aliens or through these androids.
Yeah, when we are doing the crowdfunding campaign, and I was thinking about what type of comparables we can use.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like I think initially when Cameron was writing this script, that I mean there are so many references in his mind, but just to introduce this to like our friends or just the general audience, like I think people still kind of follow like a language that's established in the marketplace. And I think we picked four in the end. And the first one I
Mm-hmm.
can think of was not alien, sorry, Arrival.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like basically our film is like this alien's arrival to the Earth, right?
Yeah.
And there's Black Mirror. Was that it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Black Mirror. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Mm-hmm.
I think you picked Get Out or
Uh,
something similar.
yeah, it was something similar. I can't remember.
Yeah, yeah. So like, it's definitely interesting to explore like the genres and like what our film is similar to it, but how is it different? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. We had some very cool people on your crew here. Um, just to name a few people, you have Leah Cornithian. That's the star, right?
Hmm.
She's a Disney star. She was on Disney.
Heaven Tahada is her name. She plays Leah Corinthians.
Okay, Heaven Tiaja. Okay, and
Yeah.
then you have this name Liz George. That rings a bell. Liz George rings a bell. That
Oh,
could be. There could be a lot of Liz Georges, but Liz George rings a bell.
she's a executive producer who is
Mm-hmm,
in India right now.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And she wears a lot of hats, but I think what she at least was famous for was her political comics, like commentary and yeah, like she does a lot of stuff. She writes, she draws, and like
Sure.
she also like help pushing our uh how can you put this publicity. Yeah,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
yeah.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you also have your DP was Matai Jones. You had someone in makeup, John Goodwin, and these are folks that have quite so quite a good resume here. John Goodwin. You put quite a few people together for your project, which is great.
Yeah.
Noel Patagoni. I think I mentioned to you previously. I really like the music. The music
Yeah,
is pretty good.
Edu is like
Eduardo Fiofi, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
He
and
did a
also
great.
John Goodwin. He's a veteran special effects makeup artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he did Men in Black. We're so lucky to
Mhm.
be able to work with him. He's such a
Right.
joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Cameron can talk a bit more about him because I think he's got introduced because of his kind of like family connection.
Sure.
Yeah, it was I went to this writing group and he just happened to be there, and there's a lot of, I guess, people from the industry in there.
Yeah.
And then so happened to meet John Goodwin, who he also does like short stories and writes a little bit on the side, but he used to do special effects, and he did stuff for Men in Black. Um,
Yeah. The Thing is a big deal, man. The Thing
yeah,
is a really big deal. Tremors also is a big deal.
definitely,
Um,
yeah.
and he won a primetime Emmy for his work in CSI. That's awesome. One of those things that Valentina probably mentioned to you is that it's extremely important to stay in touch with these kind of contacts. That's extremely valuable, as well as your zip code that you're in. You know,
Yeah,
yeah, take advantage of that because um, the festival gets a lot of content from North America, from the United States, but the overwhelming bulk of that content does come out of California, and it comes to us in the context of short films, where people are, they put together a little budget, and due to their connections, they're able to produce really high quality content because of their access to the equipment, all of this instrumentation,
right.
as well as skilled hands on set and actors that know how to convey their story. And with that it just always keeps the bar high, regardless of what else comes in. So if you and Valentina have access to these types of assets, you've got a winning recipe. Just every time you'll have a winning recipe. So take advantage of it. And as Marty Cove and Julia Roberts, what's his brother name? Eric Roberts. They're always working. They're always working. They're always work. That's the way. That's the way. When you're
Yeah,
an actor, you're just constantly every day. Even though it is a festival, maybe I'll come for it, but if not, I'm working. I'll call in. you know, you
yeah,
Yeah,
know.
hit us up when you're in LA. We'll let you know if we're there in our Miami.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
yeah. Speaking of like talents and where we are, like we have Jordan Leibowitz, who plays the alien. Like we don't really see how it looks like when he's in this makeup.
right.
Yeah, that he's such a talented actor. Like I think initially, maybe Cameron can share a bit more.
Hmm.
Like there's a specific idea of how this alien could be, or like there's like a creative like control we want the actor to have too, but it is so hard and particular of like
Right.
his demeanor and the way he speaks.
Right. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
when casting the alien, it was, I mean, really, you get a lot of the same self tapes of people doing the same, like, I guess, stereotypical idea of an alien. But you want to look for something that's unique, that hasn't been
Right.
seen before, and has this mood that fits the film, and then Jordan just kind of fit that
So
perfectly.
how did you go about meeting Jordan? How did you cast him and say, hey man, we're gonna put this suit on you? You know.
Yeah, it was the usual way. I went to, we just posted it on like Actors Access or whatever, and then people sent in a bunch of self tapes, and we got lucky enough for Jordan to submit one. And we went through like a callback and everything, and we met, and we have pictures of him putting the cast on for the Alien, and John Goodman was there, and yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, and also Heaven, Leah, like this character,
Yeah.
used to be a boy, but I think Cameron got her self tape and then
Right.
decided to change it to a girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Change. So you changed the character.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. That does happen. That happens a lot.
yeah.
We see that. One of the things that we do at the festival. We have a screenplay competition, and in the screenplay competition, we have to get actors, people anywhere to play these
Yeah.
roles on
Mhm.
set. So there's always a switch where there'll even be a child in, in the in the performance that's not supposed to be a child, And
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
times the writers show up, and the writers like, "What's going on?" With the casting, So yeah, that's okay. And sometimes it comes out even better. So what can I say?
Yeah.
That's the one thing. You never have the writer on the set.
Mhm.
So so how else? We have a couple other folks you have here in your producer's bio. You have a couple other
Mm.
producers, Tom Osborne and Eddie Ye. Eddie Ye,
Yeah.
I guess that's Ye.
Oh, Eddie. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
I
yeah. Like,
think.
they mainly brought in the funds.
Mhm.
Yeah, like, they're either my kind of like friends of friends or I met in school.
Sure.
Yeah, and I've been like talking about this project for maybe 2 months, like 1 or 2 months before we started crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just got like surprisingly also David Bud. Um,
Mm.
yeah, like he's also like a mutual friend that there's our deadline feature. Yeah. Uh, uh, yeah, they just got excited and they want to help out, and
No,
they
that's great. That's
helped
great.
on
That's
set
great.
too. Mhm.
That's great. And I see here that so you're not telling us all the stuff, Cameron. You know, you there's also a lot more going on about you, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So I think that's great. What I think is super special here is the mere fact that you're in television production. You're in a series. That's what this says,
Mm.
right? All American Homecoming.
Yeah.
You're in a series, but you're also producing, your own work. And I think that that's a very good habit to have. Several people who are we're talking about people who've been doing this for 30 years. They never get to do that. So the mere fact that at this stage of the game, you're not only, and correct me wrong, you're not even 18 yet, are you?
Mm.
so, so you're doing great, man. Don't let anybody fool you. You're doing great. If you're riding both sides of the lane, okay, you're doing fabulous. Where you're doing your work, you're in these productions, and at the same time, you in the same year, let's just say in the same season, same year, you're making other content. That's excellent. That's excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep it up and make sure your content. Um, you can remunerate this stuff. You can sell your content, or let's say license your content. That's good. That's a
Yeah.
really good position to be in. And after 15 years, you have 5 to 10 films under your belt, other than the ones that you're working on.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a great position to be in, man. That's not,
Thank
that's
you.
that's Tyler Perry stuff.
Yeah.
That's Tyler Perry stuff. So no, that's good. So what else can you tell us about these productions and your interest in science fiction?
Mhm.
Where would you like to see this go? If you
Uh,
if you had the chance.
I guess. Well, I like to. So I started off in acting,
Mhm.
and that's always been fun.
Mhm.
But I think it's the case with most actors. While it doesn't seem, it isn't. It's not. I don't want to say it makes it sound bad, but it's not like creatively stimulating. It's like a different sort of art form that I don't think has a name yet. But
Mhm.
I think filmmaking, going behind the camera, it's a lot better. Or it just scratches a different itch. Um,
Mhm.
I think that's that's the reason I made it, and
Okay.
in the future, I hope just to whatever ideas I have in my head, I just want to get them out and just do whatever with them.
Right.
I think that's always the goal: freedom to
Right.
make whatever.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, always keep that in mind. How about you, Valentina?
Um, like I think for me, like I got uh connected to this project pretty randomly. Like
Mhm.
I mean, I like sci-fi. I just didn't really think about it as an early stage producer.
Mhm.
As like a lot of times it requires like what you think about sci-fi is like big budget, right?
Right.
Although we still managed to make it in a pretty low budget way.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean we're pretty excited just to be here in this interview. And I mean I was really excited to see it on the Roku channel. Like it is so cool to see our stuff getting distributed on TV. And I wonder like how long will it stay there? Like because
Well, it's
I
not. It's not. It's not distributed, right? So realize that during COVID, everything was shut down, and when everything got shut down, festivals got canceled.
hmm,
So what we did, we created a virtual festival, right? So people could still watch the films. They'd have to pay and watch the films. And we used a software platform back then called Eventive. And Eventive worked great. It works really good. But they were billing us for like 8 months after the festival. They're still billing us every single month. And I'm like, this is nuts. All the money we made from that, we're paying it back.
okay.
So that's when I said, there's got to be a better way to make films available for people to watch in a secure environment. And that's where the conversation at the time was, well, why don't you just put it on Roku? Because Roku has a very high level of security. People can't just crack into it and download your film.
Mm.
And we did a lot of background research to figure out how to do it, and contracted some engineers to help us make a channel. And it worked quite well. But recently, Roku made some big changes to their system as of last year, and our system didn't work as well anymore. So we had to find another way to do it, and that's where we got on board with Sci-Fi World. And Sci-Fi World said, "Yeah, we'll sponsor you guys. You can use our channel for a month, and show your films." So that's what we were able to do.
Amazing. 4 months, guys.
Yeah,
Excited
yeah,
to be
Yeah.
there for 4 months.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Because and the reason why, and it's usually less than that, but what tends to happen is it's a slow ramp up, and you get some people watch it,
mhm.
and halfway through they watch it, and they're like, you got so many films, we want to watch all of them. We're paying for this. And it's like, well, either you're going to watch 30, 40 films in 1 week, or you're going to take a couple weeks. So we kind of go slow and let people watch, and whatever.
Yeah.
But what happens also as a result of it, because of COVID, people don't even go to the theaters anymore. So what we would typically have had, we'd have a lot of local people show up and watch films. People
Mhm.
don't want to do that. People don't do that much anymore. So we had a couple when we came back from COVID. The first 2 years, it was really tough. It's bad enough. I was scared to death. I didn't want to get COVID.
Yeah.
Even though you know people are still walking around, and do understand in Florida, for most cases, most people didn't respect any of the protocols anyway.
Yeah.
So I was scared to death. I'm up there with a mask on, choking on my own CO2, and we're trying to run everything, and I'm like, I don't even want to go down there and see any of the people because I don't want to get COVID. Because so many people got it. A lot of people were really, really sick. People died. We had some issues with our festival team too. People got really sick. They weren't on board anymore. So, but the good thing is this season. This season was our best performance, and probably our best performance ever in 12 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking physical at the physical festival. Even our early, not our morning, but our earliest plays. There
Mhm.
were. I'm looking down. I'm like, wow, there's people in the audience. It was great. It was great. It was really good. Yeah, it was really, really good. We're very, very happy that it's back, and it could easily have been back because we had George R. R. Martin show up. That's top dog in the industry right now. His work.
Yeah.
But he came. He had a film there, and he came both days and supported the festival.
This
And,
year.
yeah, he was
Oh,
there.
we missed it. That's
Yeah, you missed him. You missed.
That's
He came.
awesome.
He sat down and watched hours of films.
wow. He
Yeah.
watched our film. Did he?
Um,
We're not sure, but
I can tell you. Grub played.
Saturday,
Do you
night.
do you remember the time that it played? It's not on. It's not on the website anymore.
Midnight block or
Good checking.
something.
Nah, we don't have Midnight Block.
Let me see.
Mm.
While mortals sleep. Saturday 9
It was
10.
it was the final block. It played in the final block. So it played, when I say final block, the final Saturday block. It played in the horror block, which was after his.
Mhm.
So I think he saw it.
Potentially, but that is so close.
Eventually.
And I think he saw it because his block was right before that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm not sure he left, but I could tell right now there's video footage of it. Because we were down, we were watching everything going on because we were told by HBO and somebody else, please don't mention Game of Thrones. Don't ask any questions about Game of Thrones or HBO.
My profile literally says Vala Magulis, Vala the hardest. On my Instagram, like I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones.
Well, you'd have had a good time because he was very, very generous with his time. He got on the Q&A stage and he spoke for about a half hour.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That is very.
and we recorded the whole thing.
Is that on YouTube?
Nope.
Only for personal.
But I'll put it on the Roku channel for people to watch.
Oh, okay.
I'll send an
That's
email
cool.
out for people to watch it on the Roku channel. It'll
Yeah.
it might eventually end up on YouTube, but if it does, it'll only be clips, and we'll save it for the festival archive where we play stuff for people that come to the festival, and we play and they'll and you can listen to what he has to say.
Mhm.
Because he did talk quite a bit about he spoke primarily about his venture in the film that he was showcasing, which was Mary Margaret Road Grader. So that film that we got from him, in my opinion, that was a spec film. In other words, it's a film to determine if there's going to be interest. Is there interest? And it's a post-apocalyptic, sort of like Mad Max film set in a Navajo reservation.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. And it had top actors in it. I was like, what? Look at this. Because we do have an indigenous session at the festival. It's part of the Russell Bates Awards. and Russell Bates is Kyle. He's no longer with us, but he passed away. But he's Kyle, and Russ, he came to the festival, was part of the festival, and he even was a screenplay judge and stuff like that. So his wish, was to see more of this kind of content, and so we have a section for that. And Gnu, who you either met or you didn't meet, but he runs that section. And Gnu was like, Troy, these are some stars in the film. These are indigenous stars that are in the film, people who are indigenous that are very well known in the TV industry in the film. We had quite a few people in the film. And we also had another film called Quadu, which had some very interesting people in it as well. Did very well. It's good, very good films. But they won in the Russell Bates category, as well as an additional. I think Paul Judd was best director at the festival. Really good film. Really. So it's once again, Misi Fee is an experience. So keep on making those films and come back. You alumni now.
Definitely.
and experience the festival, because we had a very, very, very good time this season. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a couple more questions. What was the most challenging part in making the film? In making Grub? What was the most challenging part?
I think it was just post-production was pretty difficult. I think we were struggling with finding the right way to articulate the story.
Right.
You did a great job, though. Like, I think it's kind of like I gave you the homework to do like a brief for every position. Like, we gave a brief sound to music, editor. Like, I asked Cameron to give reference because we're on a very tight timeline.
Right.
And I think he did a great job to articulate like what he wants.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
like, at least from my point of view, like I feel like our team like had a very good like they grasped the concept pretty quickly. We didn't have too many revisions.
Right.
Yeah, it's partially because we're under a contract, but also I feel like we're in the festival, so I assume that's like a good result of what we've done. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The recipe is, you'd be surprised how many people don't know it. But the recipe is simply framing, story, and not in that order. Are the actors any good? Can they carry the story well? Do the actors does the story allow the actors to have range? Right. If you have these general principles, and of course the quality of the audio, you have these general principles in line, people are going to watch your film. If you don't, they're on their phone, they're doing something else.
Yeah.
Right? The programmers are not going to like the film. If you do this right, if you get the recipe right, a short film, which we have one that the film that won Best Short was called The Escape Attempt, and that film is just shy, maybe 30 minutes. It's a long short, but you swear you're watching a feature film. It's done so freaking well.
That's cool.
It's got the whole thing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I suddenly have a question for Cameron.
Please.
Like in each stage of the production, like what surprised you the most? Like I think we never have this conversation, and like that whole thread just make me curious.
Yeah, I guess pre-production, I didn't expect it to be so much work. Oh, I didn't expect the pre-production, like just getting the money all together and well, actually no, I didn't expect to get. I think for the crowdfunding, it was really last minute. All the funding that came in, I really didn't expect to reach what we asked for, but we did, and we got more. But it was at the very last second. So that was pretty interesting. And then during, it was all super new since I guess it was my first time doing everything. But yeah, I think also the post production was pretty difficult. Well, it was just surprising. Also with the marketing, and I guess trying to articulate ideas,
Sure.
meeting new people, and seeing how many different ways we could actually do the film. That was quite interesting to watch, because you have a set idea when you write the script and then direct it and then everything. But it's nice to have freedom after editing it. So I think that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and we did the whole post production remotely. Yeah, I don't think we met anyone. Like everyone is kind of like in other states or other part of the world.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where was that done? The final editing and cleanup. Where was that done?
I
Color correction and stuff.
I finished. I pretty much put most of it together in the end. But Noel, our editor, he was in Texas during the hurricanes that weren't too long ago. So that was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really hard for him, I bet. And Tin, the colorist, he literally lives in my area actually, so that was pretty easy. We met in person and we chatted a little bit. So he's in LA, and then also there's Rima. Where's she, Valentina?
She's in Taiwan, or VFX artist.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
She's all the way in Taiwan, and she did a great job.
And Edu is in Italy or Spain.
Oh yeah, Edu's in Spain.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so it's like we have to coordinate like everyone's time zone.
That's right.
Yeah, to manage. Yeah, and the only two who are based in LA is Tin, our colorist, and Nadav, our sound designer. Yeah, but I didn't get to meet them in person at all. Like I think Cameron only met Tim because like
we had to hand off the files and stuff. Yeah.
So how did you get them to work on the project if you've never met? How did that happen?
Did you know Rima, Valentina?
Yeah. So we had a hard time finding a VFX artist here in LA, and I think partially due to budget constraints, but also LA. People are very like it's a very industrial streamlined of like post-production,
right?
So people are really focused on like just one thing, but like in Taiwan at least I think they basically have to do everything, or they have like a relatively tight team. And I had a roommate who used to work in VFX, right now in gaming.
Yeah.
And I just asked her, do you know anyone who might be interested in working on our project? And she found Rima from, like, she asked around. I don't think they know each other. And that's how we found Rima. And Edu, our composer, I think he reached out to Cameron, like in the very early stage in our crowdfunding campaign.
He emailed us saying that he found he just liked our crowdfunding video, and then he reached out and then he sent all his music. And I mean, it's pretty crazy. He's got so much
he's
stuff
already
going on,
established, but he's still in school. Yeah.
He's really talented, and I'm pretty sure he's doing well himself. So I mean, that's just crazy.
No, that's great. That's awesome that this came together. So then, of course, the question lies now. How well is it doing at other festivals?
I think the first festival we got into is Screamfest. It was really weird because we had a late submission, and then
Mhm.
they got back to us like the other day or like 2 days later and said we're in. And it's crazy because it was Screamfest, which is pretty good festival.
Mhm. Mhm.
That was also
I
our
was
very first festival to send out to, and we got selected
yeah
like very
Oh,
soon.
that's a
We
good
feel
feeling.
pretty flattered.
yeah
Yeah.
Yeah. You did go to the festival, or where was it?
yeah it's here in LA, so we went.
Oh, great, great,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and we got into this student block with like so many other talented filmmakers from other schools,
Yeah.
and we just feel like, oh, like our film is screening with them. Like we feel really good that we get
Yeah,
to see so many amazing short films. And I
yeah.
think our film is like one of the shortest one. Like
Mhm.
there's one or two like which is like 20 to 40 minutes. So it
Mhm.
was interesting to see how they programmed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Did they put long ones with short ones together to make them fill up like 90 minutes of film?
I forgot. It's like enough, maybe 90 minutes or 2 hours. I don't
Yeah,
exactly remember how long it was. Yeah.
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 It's typically we fill a 2 hour block,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
but that entails sometimes entails a Q&A because it's rare
Oh,
that
right.
people don't typically want to sit more than 90 minutes. So we try to make it 90 minutes and then worth of film.
Yeah.
So you can fit like 4 or 5 films in there depending on their length. Um, this year, I think we've got one, which I think was my block. My block was 2 hours long and about 7 films. So seven short films.
Yeah.
Um, but because you want to give people the time for the Q&A, and the Q&A could easily run a half hour long if you've got 2 or 3 films talking. 2 or 3
Yeah.
directors talking about their
So
films.
I think every film's director got called on stage. I think only one, maybe one of the filmmakers didn't make it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they were there.
And it
Reporter.
was a pretty fast-paced Q&A, maybe 15 to 30 minutes. I don't remember how long because they have a limited time before the next
Sure,
block starts.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
and it was basically everyone gets to answer like maybe 2 sentences for every question, but it was really fun.
Well,
Yeah, there's so many films. I
that's good. That's good. Any other festivals?
think
Not yet. No,
My Sci-Fi is the second,
yeah.
and we're still waiting to hear back from several others. I think we'll hear back from a few in March or April. Like
Hmm.
not many of them are like processing this in February and January.
Sure, sure. Okay. Well, good luck with that. I had a couple more questions if we have some time.
Mm.
So, let's talk more sci-fi. I think we touched on
Yeah.
this topic a little bit last time, and we like to hear what people think about some of the popular sci-fi series that are among us, and if they like them or not, or what do they like. So, if you, Cameron, could, what kind of sci-fi do you like, man? What do you enjoy watching? That happens to be science fiction.
Uh, I like all type of sci-fi, man. I think recently, Val, you mentioned it earlier, but I've been on Severance. I've been on that whole tangent. I'm following the whole thing next week. I think it airs every Friday. I'm
Mm-hmm.
there every time. And then there's an animated series called, I guess it's sci-fi, sort of. I don't know, Common Side Effects, but the filmmakers, they're really great. They made and the score is amazing. We inspired some of it off of their earlier project, which is called
Mm-hmm.
Scavenger's Reign.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've heard of it, but um, takes place on like a different planet. It's a really good TV show. You should watch it.
Wow, wow! I'm looking here. Common
Yeah,
side effects. Wow,
yeah,
wow, wow, wow. Okay, okay,
yeah.
awesome.
Um, and then I'm trying to think what else. I watched I rewatched uh what's it called? Starship Troopers.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, yeah, that was such a great movie. I love that so much. Yeah,
Good, good, good,
I want to make movies like that. That's
good.
dope.
I would ask you to watch. There's a lot of talk about it right now. It's
Mm.
called write this down.
Hold
The
on.
film. The film. You ever heard of Vin Diesel? Of course you have.
I of course, yeah.
Well, before he became all of that Fast and Furious, he was
Mhm.
popular in science fiction. And
Really,
yes, and he's known as a guy named Riddick.
Riddick.
Riddick. Oh yeah, and he was most famous in a film which very few people have seen, called Pitch Black.
Pitch Black. Okay.
Pitch Black. That was one of his first. He made that was released around the same time he did Boiler Room, and I think these were his very very earliest films. And he's really young in there. But
Yeah.
in Pitch Black, Boiler Room is a regular film about um, stock trading behind the scenes and stuff. But it's very good.
Mhm.
Boiler Room is excellent. Highly recommend Boiler Room. But it's not sci-fi. But the other film is called Pitch Black, where he plays a prisoner, a wanted prisoner in a prison transport that crashes on this planet with these
Mhm.
people on it, and a lot of them die, I guess. But the survivors, they're trying to figure out how to get off this planet, and they discover that the planet has only one period that it gets dark, and when it gets
Mhm.
dark, these horrible animals come out trying to eat everybody.
Yeah.
But he has the ability to see at night. He's the only one that
Okay.
has the ability to see at night, and
Yeah.
he's the bad guy. Um, it's a very good film, and people are talking about it now because of whatever reason. I don't know, 30-year anniversary or something.
Yeah.
But they're talking about it now, and it's trending.
Mhm.
It's interesting
Okay.
how he still looks like Van Diesel
Vin
in
Diesel.
this
Yeah.
sci-fi film. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's
You
like
will
he
see.
just got put into this space from Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he never changes. His appearance never changes. He always looks the same way, and every.
That actually intrigues me.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but yeah, so I would also, of course, I'm a huge fan of The Expanse, and I would recommend that. But that's a very long watch. It's a
Expanse. Okay.
yeah, it's a long, 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 long story that's stretched out over 6 seasons.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a true space opera. You know, so
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, listen. Is there any more that you'd like to leave with us? Any parting words you'd like to add?
Well, I
Anything else
think
you want to say?
just like earlier,
Yes.
like we were talking about like what we're doing in the future. I'm not
Yes.
sure about Cameron. I know he's working on some screenplays, and like myself, I'm executive producing a short film, The Big Match Girl, which
Mhm.
interestingly, there's also a surreal element to it. I'm not sure if it could be categorized as sci-fi because in the story it's like taking place, but basically our protagonist, she's turning 40 year old, and like she's feeling like a something lacking because she doesn't fulfill what she wants to have a family, and then
Sure.
she decides to hire actors to play pretend her family for a day. It's kind of like bleak actually, and it's called The Big Match Girl. So
Okay.
we, I'm not sure how that can be categorized. We just thought about it as a drama, but
Right. Right.
uh,
That's got Rosie in it, and she did the voice, the news reporter voice at the end of Grub.
yeah,
Okay.
she
So
also
it's
did like
cool.
our kind
Yeah.
of like crowdfunding campaign
Oh,
uh,
right, right. Yeah, she was in the
as
video.
a mom, I think, and she
Yeah,
was like in a park. Just like we had like a series of videos. It's on our Instagram. Like
yeah.
it's at grub.film.
Hmm.
So we'll keep posting updates if anything comes up. Um,
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, just a little bit about Misi Fee, if you haven't checked. Just like with any other festival, I would recommend
Hmm.
take a look at what we play. Always look at what a festival plays before you submit to it. Um, at Misi Fee, yeah, we're a sci-fi festival, but we're really a fantastic film festival. So that means we have multiple categories. Our main category is science fiction, but we also take fantasy,
Mm,
horror, thrillers,
I see. Yeah.
animation, right? Science docs, you know.
mhm,
So we have sort of like a broad submission category. And the reason why is that there are some really crazy films that are not science fiction that
Yeah.
into a fantasy like category
mm,
or a horror like category that are really, really good and worthy of being seen. So we've always had um, multiple categories since the very beginning of Misi Fee. And the people in the horror world, they keep sending us these absolutely horrific films. Um, which are scared for me because that's not my category. but
sometimes it's very random, right? Like
no.
I'm also like helping with the Japanese film festival in LA.
Mm.
And there's like one submission I saw that's that has nothing to do with Japanese culture. And like it's not like we're free and it just got submitted and I was so confused. Yeah.
That happens. That happens. We get stuff sent to us. We're like, why are these people sending this to us? Did they? I obviously they can't read, because we get stuff sent to us sometimes that it makes no sense. Why they would send us some of these films, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It happens. So yeah, so that's awesome. You have yeah. The last thing I should have asked was what else is going on? What's next for you, Cameron? What's
What's
next?
next?
And where can we watch the your television, the program that you're in? It has something to do with college. Um,
Oh, All American Homecoming.
yeah. Where
Yes.
where can we watch this?
That's on CW right now.
On the CW network.
Yes, CW Network.
And is it on a certain day or whatever?
Well, no, it got canceled actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was on its fourth season. You could find it on Netflix as well. I think fourth
You
season.
know what? I just found out it's on Netflix now.
Yeah, yeah, it's on Netflix.
Homecoming. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
it when it was airing, it wasn't on Netflix, and they had like other seasons on Netflix, but right
yeah,
now
because
it's
they post they go by each season instead of each episode. I prefer each episode a week, but whatever.
yeah.
I don't know.
Did you enjoy that production?
Yeah, it was great. That'd be my first recurring role in a TV show, so that was really fun.
That's awesome. Where was that shot?
That was shot here in LA, Warner Bros. Studio.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And did they say what school it was supposed to be? What school it was supposed to represent?
Well, it's made up. I'm not sure if it's. I'm pretty sure it's just inspired by BCU's.
A fictitious. So it's a fictitious school.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome, man. All right. All right. So keep it going, man. Keep it working, and we hope to
Thank
see
you.
some more sci-fi from you, as
Yeah.
well as you, Valentina. Please supporting, and the next sci-fi you're in, get
For
a
sure.
space, get a spacesuit, man. Get a spacesuit.
Thank you.
Get a
I mean,
spacesuit uniform.
I feel like the jacket I was wearing was
There you
giving
go.
a sci-fi vibe too.
Yeah, very
Something.
Harry Potter, very Harry Potter, very sci-fi vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like kind of like 60s, like that sort of cut.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Okay.
All right. Well, listen, this has been fabulous. Thank you so much. It was a really good interview we got here. Thank you so much for your time. And if possible, if you want to bring some more of the other folks on and have even more of a bigger conversation with you all, that'd be great too.
I'll definitely ask them. Yeah, like we'll see.
Yeah, you can come on at any time. Come on at any time.
Thank you, Troy. Yeah, like is there any other thing throughout the year for Misifi or even for yourself?
No, we don't, and it's because it takes so much to produce Me CV
For sure.
that what we do continue meetings and lectures, conversations, virtually like this. We do continue that. So if people want to come on and just talk about whatever they're doing, we can do that.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Definitely. All right.
Cool.
You all take it easy. Oh, wait a second. Did we show the trailer?
I don't think so.
No.
We didn't. That's a good ending.
We've been talking so much. Let's show the trailer. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
What do you want to be when you grow up? Are you willing to die for your dream?
Oh boy.
More crazy stuff in the film.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. Well, we got that one by us too. So thank you so much, and stand by. We're just gonna close out. Stand by. Okay. That's it.
Lundi 15 janvier, 9352e jour du gouvernement Byoki. 9352 jours d'une paix totale, assurée par notre président. Le monde a perdu sa saveur, mais les gens semblent en sécurité. À quel prix ?
I wanted to personally congratulate you on being one of the artists selected.
I actually got into this program at the Smith Institute. All I ever wanted was to paint beautiful pictures that made people feel. But how can I do that if I feel nothing? I'm fine. I may as well be a robot.